Chapter 2: The Experience of Mastery. The most important factor that influences your self-efficacy is the experience of mastery. When you complete a task successfully, your self-efficacy increases. On the other hand, failure to achieve a goal, or performing inadequately, can undermine and weaken your self-efficacy, especially if you don't believe in your abilities. As the proverb says, nothing succeeds like success. If you have ever wondered why successful people are more likely to achieve big goals, here's your answer: success by success. They have built powerful self-efficacy that allows them to believe they can achieve even bigger things. Although your past performance is the most important factor that influences your self-efficacy, it doesn't mean that if you've experienced a string of failures in the past, you're bound to repeat them. The key to leveraging this source of self-efficacy is to ensure small wins. Small wins lead to universities in space. Entrepreneur Peter Diamandis, author of Bold: How to Go Big, Create Wealth and Impact the World 6, emphasizes in his book the power of establishing a track record to achieve big goals. In 1982, Diamandis came up with an idea to establish an international space university. Yes, a university in space. Talk about bold goals. Obviously, the first thing he did wasn't building the university and sending it into space. He broke down his goal into 5 phases. 1. Organizing a conference about the idea of the International Space University, ISU. 2. Holding a 9-week summer session of the ISU. 3. Repeating the same summer program in countries all over the world to prove the concept works. 4. Establishing a permanent campus on Earth. 5. Establishing a university on the International Space Station. In 1994, 12 years after setting this big goal, the International Space University established its campus in Strasbourg, France. Diamandis' goal to establish the Space University no longer sounds improbable. His approach is exactly what you need to increase your self-efficacy. While your end goal doesn't have to be as big as his, but why not? We could use more visionaries. The process is exactly the same. Here's how you can build your self-efficacy to ensure success in building your business. 1. Find your first client in your circle of friends and family. Even if it's your mom, it's still your first client and a necessary step toward gaining self-efficacy to grow a full-blown business. 2. Sell your product to the first stranger. This will give you a powerful boost of motivation that somebody else besides your family and friends is interested in your product. 3. Sell your product to 10 strangers. If 10 people bought your product, there have to be many more prospects. You're solidifying the belief in your ability to sell. 4. Establish a company and set small sales targets. 5. Hire your first employee. 10. Sell on Mars. Or stay on Earth and retire after selling your business for millions of dollars. And here's how you can build your self-efficacy if all your previous efforts to lose weight failed. 1. Start tracking your calories. It's a simple keystone habit 7 that will increase your awareness and generate results with little to no resistance. 2. Make a small change to your diet. Eliminate just one high-calorie food that contributes to your unhealthy diet the most. If you successfully resist the temptation to eat it, you'll start believing more in your self-control abilities. 3. Eliminate another food or an entire group, for instance, all kinds of chocolate. 4. Introduce more vegetables in your diet. To make this change smaller, add just one piece of a vegetable per day. 5. Add some exercise in your routine. Even if it's just 30 minutes per week, it will suffice for now while you're building your self-efficacy. 10. Enjoy your new body. By breaking your big goals into smaller, much more achievable steps, you'll ensure small wins that will help you develop more confidence in your abilities and make it easier to face bigger challenges. Easy success isn't as powerful as blood, sweat, and tears success. Your self-efficacy increases when you achieve successes, but it becomes much more firmly established when it's built on successes that required you to overcome obstacles through persistence. If you only experience easy successes, you'll come to expect quick results with little to no effort. Consequently, you'll get easily discouraged when you face setbacks. On the other hand, when you've already experienced successes after pushing through numerous obstacles, you'll be more resilient and capable of dealing with challenges. 8. Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, "Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths." When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength. Mahatma Gandhi said something similar: strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. Isn't it interesting how closely their words resemble the conclusions of scientific studies? When you're struggling, remind yourself that it's your struggles which will make you a stronger, more resilient, and more successful person. Failure, and when it harms you the most. Albert Bandura discovered that failure decreases self-efficacy. However, as I mentioned in the first chapter, people with a strong sense of self-efficacy don't approach failures in the same way as people with little belief in their abilities. As failures are essential to achieve anything worthwhile in life, it's not a healthy approach to do everything in your power to avoid them. However, while you're working on developing your self-efficacy, it might be a good idea to minimize the risk of failures and focus on achieving small, safe goals. When you experience a streak of successes, you'll become much more resilient and capable of dealing with failures in a positive, constructive way. Then, taking bigger risks won't be associated with a high risk of destroying your self-efficacy and sending you back to square one. Failure is good. Even though acceptance of failure in society is steadily rising, many people still avoid setting big goals, as they associate the act of failing with a personal failure. I failed, therefore I'm a failure. I've noticed this belief is not nearly as widespread in the entrepreneurial circles where failure is often celebrated. What's the difference between the general population and entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs consider failure a part of every achievement. As Richard Branson said, failure and rejection are an inevitable part of business, and how you deal with them will ultimately affect your success. The ability to cope with and learn from failure and rejection can be practiced and honed along the way. Some people are better at it than others. We have had many great successes at Virgin, but we've also experienced a number of failures. Every time something hasn't worked out as we hoped it would, we have picked ourselves up, looked at what went wrong, and learned from our mistakes. Therein lies the key to changing your beliefs about failure. It's just an opportunity to learn what doesn't work and do better next time. Remind yourself of this concept each time you're afraid to fail. Surrounding yourself with people who approach failure in this way will also help you alter your beliefs. If you feel extremely uncomfortable with failure, try rejection therapy. Rejection therapy is a social game developed by Jason Cumley, who for a year strived to become rejected every single day. The rules of his game are simple. 1. You must be rejected by another person at least once, every single day. 2. Expecting more rules. Sorry to disappoint you. There's only one rule. The only objective of the game is to get rejected. If your request is granted, you must ask for more, until you achieve the successful outcome, which is rejection. Rejection therapy is not just a weird game created by a random person. It's an example of a psychotherapeutic technique called flooding, which was developed in 1967-11. It's still used by therapists to help patients overcome phobias. A patient is put into a situation where she faces her phobia at its worst. By facing the worst fear head-on, the patient's fear gradually minimizes as she realizes it's not something to be afraid of. Although flooding is not for everyone, as it's more traumatic than systematic desensitization, overcoming fear step by step, it can work pretty well to overcome your fear of failure. By facing rejection right away, you'll quickly notice the first results, weakened fear of rejection, which will help you become more at peace with failure. Note, I'm not a doctor, and you should never listen to self-help authors when your mental health is at stake. If you suffer from any mental health issues, speak with your doctor and consult a psychologist or a psychiatrist. The experience of mastery. Quick recap. 1. Success breeds more success and builds your self-efficacy, while failure, when you believe it's bad for you, decreases it. 2. Ensure small wins to build your track record. Each small win will build more confidence in your abilities. If you have big goals that will take years to achieve, break them down into small bits. 3. The key to a strengthened sense of self-efficacy is not easy success, it's obstacles and perseverance that build your character, make you more resilient, and better equipped to handle setbacks. 4. Change your beliefs about failure, consider it a source of feedback, not a testament to your lack of abilities. 5. If you're afraid of failure, try rejection therapy. Make it a goal to get rejected by another person at least once, every single day. By exposing yourself to your worst fear, you will quickly become less vulnerable to it, and ready to tackle bigger challenges. Chapter 3. Social Modeling.